Hi guys, John from B&B Campers. Just going to do your handover video on your Adria Izola. So on the left hand side here under the bonnet we've got your fuel filter and priming bulb just there in the corner. Brake fluid attached to the servo just there on the left hand side. Your power steering fluid is in this reservoir just here at the front, and your washer fluid is in this one just in front of that. Engine oil gets topped up through this yellow cap just here, and your engine oil dipstick is this yellow one just here. You need to squeeze the sides to get that to come open. You then got your coolant, which is this one just up here, and if you can see in the moment it's at the correct level. It's cold at the minute, so it's just between the minimum and the maximum and exactly where it needs to be. I believe this one over here, if it's got a little dipstick in it or something, that's probably to do with your automatic transmission, but I'm not entirely sure. Your engine battery doesn't actually sit under the bonnet in these particular vans, so if you want to jump start the van, you've got your positive terminal up here underneath this cap, and then the negative, I mean, that looks like a negative to me there, although there's probably an actual negative terminal somewhere dotted around, but I'm not exactly sure where it is. But yeah, anything sort of, you're a positive on there, negative there, here probably as well is a good negative. But you know, if you can't find anything else, just want some of this, some of the engine steadies there would be a good earth for that. So carry on to the near side. Your bonnet release is this just down here on the passenger side, just inside the passenger door. The seats, both front seats, they do swivel around. I mean, I think you saw it when you came to see the van. But you just pull this front one up here, and then you should swivel the seat around wherever you want it. You then got front part of the seat, so this part here, adjustment, and the rear part, and then obviously your actual backrest, the actual back part of the seat there is on the back part here. So that's all nice and easy to get to from both sides. Right, so you've also got your freshwater inlet. So if I just show you, that comes out nice and easily like that. And then if you want to lock it up, you basically put it back in the way it came out, like that. And you put your key in there, turn it 90 degrees, take it out, and then it won't come out whatsoever. So that's your freshwater inlet. This cupboard just here is just storage, so I won't show you in there. But you know, it's got some bits in there that we haven't taken out, just in case you wanted them. And then we've got your toilet cassette locker. So to actually get that to come out, you need to lift this up here and then pull out towards you. And once you come over that first lip, you just be able to pull it out like that. So a couple of bits. You obviously want to empty the toilet cassette out from here. So literally undo this screw here and empty it out. But whilst you're doing that, you need to be holding down the little orange tab at the back. It's basically an air pressure release valve. And obviously does what it says it does, but it makes the whole thing come out much easier. Underneath that you've got this pipe. Where are we? That pipe just there. So that's your diesel heating and hot water exhaust pipe. So you've got air coming out from there. As soon as you switch that on, there's air coming out through there. So on the driver's side, so the off side, just show you a couple of bits in the cab. Obviously, like I mentioned to you before, you've got the air suspension. I know you've driven the van yourself, so you know that it feels nice as it is. But if you did want to sort of adjust that a little bit, put a little bit more pressure in, or release a bit of pressure at some point, you can do so from there. Your diesel filling point is this one just here. Ignition key goes in there and it comes out just like any sort of car. Fuel cap is no different really. Again, I know you've driven the van already, but we'll just show you a few bits anyway. So in the middle here you've got your Waco reversing camera. Like I said to you, is, you know, the top of the range camera, so that's there. I would imagine that's probably fitted from new, so that's good. Air conditioning works from that switch just in there. And you've got your recirculate switch just next to that. You've got your sort of fan speed setting, fan temperature, and the actual fan setting, so where the air goes to. Single DIN Pioneer head unit just there, which looks reasonably new. It's got USB and you know, a CD player and things like that, so that's all good. Various buttons down here. If I'm totally honest, I'm not exactly sure what they all do, but I'm pretty sure this one here is to do with cruise control. That's probably to increase or decrease the speed and things like that, so have a little play with that if you want to, but if not, you know, it drives well enough as it is, so yeah. Hazard warning lights is this switch just down here. I think the little front piece is broken off from there, but it does still work perfectly well. Lights turn on from this left hand stalk just here, so you get one saying oh, that must mean one of your fog lights is on, so I'll switch that off. Oh, that's just from there. There you go, that's your front and rear fog lights, which is what was there. To actually get the horn to work, you need to push on the left hand side of this stalk as well, so it's not in the steering wheel at all, it's just on the actual left hand stalk. And then you've got your washers and wipers on the right hand side. You then got down here on the bottom right hand, or the right hand side of the door, you've got your electric adjusting mirrors. So you basically just choose which mirror you want to move. So if I wanted to move the right one, I'd pop it there, and then just move this like a little joystick basically, as and where you want to move the mirror basically. So yeah, I think that's about it really for the for in the cab. We'll just show you the other bits on the offside. So it's all pretty straightforward, nice and simple, but also, you know, nice and reliable in that sense as well. You've got your gas locker here, so you've got space for two 13 kilo propane bottles. So you can see the actual hole there, or the circle, is much bigger than this 6. The 6 is the one that we fit. We don't fit any 13s whatsoever. And you can see there, because it's a light, you've got a little gauge on the side of it which is telling you that it's actually full as well. So it's a brand new bottle. Looks like a brand new pigtail to me as well, so if it is, it'll be 2021 dated, so you got until 2026 to replace that, but I can't actually see the number on it as we speak. Where are we? Up there. That's the date. That's not 2014, it's product date 2021. Yeah, there you go. So 26 to replace that. To turn the bottle on, anti-clockwise around to the left to get it to turn on, clockwise around to the right to turn it off. Obviously you want to switch this off before you start driving anywhere. That's just, you know, absolutely 100% you need to do that. So that's really important. I've got it on at the moment, just so I can show you a few bits. You've got your D-bar just here, so you basically pull down on this lever and then pull this across at the same time, and then you know, that'll just basically lock in place when you close that over. Some people use it more of like just a way to help yourself in, a little hand in, but you know, you don't have to use that if you don't want to. You then got your hookup point down here, so if you're at home or at your campsite, that's where you put your hookup into. As soon as you put your hookup into the van, the charger will start working and your leisure battery will start charging up straight away. So if you wanted to do that, it's really handy to do that every now and again at least, just to keep the batteries topped up. I remember saying to you when you were here looking around the van, this is actually just like a blank now, because the actual heating system itself has been replaced for a diesel system. So I'll show you how all that works in a minute. And then just here, which is under the bed, we've just got loads and loads of storage. And again, as you've seen already, you've got the locker at the very back of the van as well. So if you wanted to put things in from the back and you couldn't go from the side, then that gives you that option as well. You can obviously lift the bed up from inside and put things in from inside if you want to, if that's easier. But if not, you know, that's where it is. So if we just hop in now. So again, you know, I know you've already seen the van, but we haven't actually cleaned it up just yet. So obviously it will be done by the time you collect, but don't worry about it if it looks a little bit sort of scruffy at the moment. It's just because we haven't had a chance to clean it just yet. So we've got your control panel up here. So it's nice and simple. On the left hand side here, if I push to the left like I've already done, you get this little green light come up here and the yellow one come up here. So the green one means that the 12 volt thing, you know, everything 12 volt in the van will start to work, and the yellow one means that the pump is on. All right, so it's as simple as that. As soon as you switch that on, if those two lights are on there, all of your lights, all of your, you know, your pump will start working, everything like that will start coming on straight away. So if I just show you now, pull the sink, and by the way, this is going to be the first thing you want to do. So I'll just sort of run you through this in, well, sort of like the way that you should do it, to sort of prolong the life of your van. Switch your power on up there. Make sure that you've got a little bit of fresh water in the tank. Come in here and just pull your tap. Wait for the pump to kick in, which is quite a quiet pump, so you just basically watch the pressure. So that's turned on now. Now switch it up to the hot. And just make sure that it comes through nice and easily like this. And you can switch it off. If the pump then runs off and stops, you know that you're up to pressure. The reason you have to do that is because if you start trying to heat your water up and stuff like that, obviously, like I said, via the system over here, then what will happen is you'll start to heat it up with nothing in it, and then things will start to get too hot and, you know, go a bit wrong. So it's really important to do that first. Just make sure that you're up to pressure on hot and cold. So next we've got your 3-burner hob. So you've got electric ignition for all 3 of those. So it is literally a case of just pushing in and turning to the left to allow the gas to come through, obviously whilst clicking on your igniter. The only thing I'll point out, two things really. I would imagine these have never been used because of how they look. Normally they go a bit rusty looking and things. So that's just one point. But also you've got these little bits at the back which are called thermocouples or flame failure devices. And what they do is basically they recognise burning gas essentially. And if you lit one of these up, the thermocouple is what's allowing that gas to carry on coming through. And if something blew the flame out, someone, wind, whatever, without you turning this knob back to the off position, the thermocouple will recognise that and it will stop any gas coming through. It does take about sort of 10-15 seconds for that to realise, but when it does, like I said, it will just stop the gas coming through, so you can't fill the van up with excess unburnt gas. So they've all been checked as part of the hab check. That's just standard. And by the way, every single gas appliance in this van has got a thermocouple, just so you know. So yeah. Grill is just as simple. The only difference is you've got a piezo ignition to light that up. Some people think they are a little bit noisy, but that, you know, a lot of the old fridges used to use these, and nearly all of the grills actually use these. In fact, if you had a smaller van, you've probably got one of these on your hob as well. So they're pretty normal and also very reliable, because they don't tend to go wrong with electrical sort of 12-volt power. It is literally just creates a spark when you press it. So grills up there, obviously. The only thing I'll mention with the grills is that you need to make sure that they light up on both sides. So when it lights up, it will light up here on the front side first, because the igniter is on this side. And then if you realise that it goes across and it doesn't go back round to the other side as well, just switch it off and try it again. Just give it a little blow in there, you know, literally just blow into it and it should just sort of light up both sides. But it is important to do that, because if you light it up and it lights up this side and not the other, it'll eventually, the gas from the other side that's pumping out will eventually get round and sort of, you know, give it a little woof, which is, you know, not that harmful, but it's not very nice. So just make sure that you do that. Make sure both sides are lit. Cupboards up over the top here. We've kept that in. I'm not sure if they'll still be there by the time they've cleaned it or not, but I think, you know, it's all nice stuff to have. I would imagine it probably will be left in, but I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Right, so the fridge is a 3-way fridge, and it's an automatic energy selecting fridge, or an AES fridge. You can obviously do this whatever way you like, but in my opinion, the AES part of it is pretty much useless. I don't really see the point in it. There's 3 different ways of using the fridge. There's gas, there's 240 volt, and there's 12 volt. So if you had it lit up on gas, obviously your gas needs to be on, but that's it. Your gas needs to be on and your 12 volt power needs to be on. All right, then what will happen is, if I just show you, it might not light up first go, because it's the first time I've tried it, but you see here, it literally just chose gas straight away. So gas is that symbol just there. And then that's it. It will literally just light up on gas, and then after a couple of hours you have a cold fridge. If you want to use it on anything else, just press this left hand button like that. That one there is your hookup. So that gives you a little fault code because there's no hookup plugged into the van, obviously. And then if I press it again, you get their little battery symbol, which again, fault code because the engine isn't running. If I started the engine up now and left it there, that fault code would go away after a little while. And then basically it will start cooling the fridge down via the 12 volt. The only thing I need to point out with this, all the fridges are the same. You can't get the fridge cold on its own on this 12 volt way. The fridge needs to be cold already, either via gas or 240. And then you need to switch over to 12 volt when it's already cold, if that makes sense. Reason being, the element in the back of the fridge for the 12 volt is much smaller than 240, and it's not big enough to get the fridge cold on its own. It has to be cold already, and essentially it just holds temperature rather than sort of creating a cold temperature. So that's that. Gas, hookup, auto, which I wouldn't bother with, or 12 volt. All right. If you want to switch it off, push and hold this little off button, and that's it. Even if it's lit up on gas, you can just literally push and hold that button and it will just switch it all off. Right, so the next one, if I just switch this to the off position so I can show you. Okay, so this is your Webasto diesel. In fact, I'll just turn this over so you can see a bit easier. So yeah, Webasto diesel, sort of, I don't know why the camera's not focusing, sorry. Where are we? Might be a bit better. So yeah, this is your diesel heating and hot water. So if you want to use this on what they call a summer setting, which is just literally hot water only, you want to go up 1 or up 2. So up 1 is 40 degrees of hot water and up 2 is 70. If you want to use it on the winter setting, which is heating and hot water, you go 1 for heating only, 2 for heating and hot water together. All right, it is pretty much as simple as that, and then you can just literally choose how powerful you want it to run on this right hand side. If you want to dump the water out of it, you got this one just down here on the left, bottom left. But otherwise you don't really need to do that. The only time you need to do that, you won't need to do it now for, you know, until next year. But the only time you ever need to do that is if you know it's going to get so cold, sort of like towards 0, minus that sort of temperature, and you're not going to be in the van using it. If you're in the van using the van, obviously you don't need to dump the water out because there'll be enough temperature in here to stop anything freezing. But yeah, essentially, if you don't drop the water out and you know it's going to freeze up in here, then what'll happen is any water that's inside the boiler will just like crack. It'll expand when it freezes and just crack. So really important, really important to do that. But I'll switch that off. I hope that makes sense as well. I mean, when you look at it, you'll realise how simple it is. But yeah, the hot water is the little tap symbol with the number underneath it. The heating is the little 3 lines going up symbol. All right. So that's that. In this cupboard, you've got a little switched light. So when you open it up, the light comes on, which is very similar in a lot of the vans. TV aerial booster is up here. And you've got your satellite dome selector up here as well. So that's a max view, which is, again, a lot like the reversing camera. The max view is pretty much the top of the top for all that. You have also got this tilt and turn aerial, which I'm assuming they've just left there because that would have been fitted from standard. But you know, I can see there that the max view is the one that they've sort of used for now. But you know, obviously it's up to you how you want to go about using this. I mean, if I just follow this wire back, actually, follow that to there. Oh no, actually they are using this. So this is wired into this TV aerial booster. So it looks like you could use either way that you wanted. So yeah, Okay. So that's all that's all your TV stuff and aerial bits and pieces in there. But again, I'm sure you can sort of work that sort of stuff out. If you want to use a TV and things like that, then it's all there for you. Got some storage just under the floor here, which is nice. What it basically means is that you've got what's called a double skinned van. So, well, half double skinned basically. So you got, well, basically what it means is, you see where it sort of steps up, the floor steps up from there, it steps up here. So this part up here would be what you call a double skin van. Some German vans have got a double skin all over, so basically it would be this height all the way, so that you've got storage right the way through. But with this one, because of the layout of the van, it gives you much more head height in the back end if they just had this part a bit lower, and just gave you extra storage up here. So yeah, it all works out pretty nicely. Okay, so you've then also got your microwave at the top here. That'll only work when your hookup's plugged in, by the way, just so you know that. And your air conditioning up on the ceiling here, again, that is just 240 volt only, but you've got this little remote there for that if you wanted to use that in the summer. Quite a lot of storage around the van. I mean, loads actually. Got a nice couple of bits up here. So you've got TV, which looks like it comes out. Yeah, there you go. Comes out like that, and then must fold over in some way. I can't really work it out with one hand, but yeah, that's TV in there. Satellite receiver in there. So that's probably what's hooked up to your MaxView satellite dome on the roof. But yeah, okay, so I think I've pretty much shown you everything I can. No, I haven't shown you in the bathroom yet. Oh, I'm always forgetting that, sorry. Right, so in the bathroom it is all pretty straightforward, but I will show you. The sink and the shower I'm not going to show you because they're so simple that it's exactly the same as the any other sink. But obviously they've all been checked for any leaks and things like that, and they get up to good pressure, so that's all good. And by the way, I mean, like I said to you before, I don't think the previous owners used the bathroom whatsoever at all. But the shower is massive. I didn't really realise that before. Really, really wide. So yeah, very nice. So down here you've got your toilet, obviously. It does tell you how to use this on here if you wanted to have a little look at that. But I'm going to show you. So first off, you've got how to empty the actual cassette empty out into the cassette, sorry. That's really important to make sure that you close that back up where it is in the middle now, for two reasons. If you don't do that, you obviously get bad smells coming up into the van, but also you won't be able to take the cassette out from outside if you don't close it back up, because when you do that, it sort of locks it in place. So that's really important. If you want to flush the toilet, press the button once, the fan comes on, and then press it again, water pumps round, empty it into your cassette, you close it, and then press the little fan switch there, and it'll stop the fan running. So that's that. It's really important as well, by the way, to mention that pretty much everything in this van, I mean, even that toilet system there, not many of the toilets have that fan part fitted to it. So basically, when they had this van brought new, I think pretty much every single, I mean, even down to the little things like the fact that this has got an automatic ignition on it, not many of them have that whatsoever. They've normally just got, you just have to use a lighter or something. So yeah, the fact that everything's sort of high spec like that just says to me, how well the van was sort of spec'd out from standard, but also the fact that it's in such good condition just, it says a lot. So yeah, I think you really like this van. Right, so I think I've shown you everything I can. If there's anything you think I've missed out or anything you want covering again, just let us know. But if not, we look forward to seeing you soon to collect your van. Thanks very much.